Welcome everyone. My name is Svarnyk, and I'm your instructor today at our Sahaja online lunchtime meditation session number 3. So in today's session, like what we have been doing so far, we will first have a short meditation, then we'll do a follow-up of the previous week, then I will introduce some new techniques for our attention, then we'll just summarize what is our homework, and then have a second guided meditation after about half an hour of the session. So if you have to leave after the first half hour, feel free. And then the session will be recorded. You're welcome to watch the recording later also and use it. All right, so let's sit comfortably. You can sit in whichever way you find comfortable, as long as your spine is somewhat straight. So if you need some support for your spine, for your back, arrange that. You can sit on the floor if you're comfortable, cross-legged. Otherwise, you can sit on a chair or any other piece of furniture. Now we can place both of our hands open on our lap. And let's just settle in. Now let's see right away whether we can feel the flow of energy on our hands, on the top of our head. If you're practicing meditation daily, if you do the foot soaking technique, it should gradually become possible to feel the flow of energy easily, without much of preparation, just by bringing your attention inside. All right, now let's place both of our hands towards the ground or on the ground. And let's ask our inner energy to bring our attention to the top of our head and to balance our whole system. Mother Energy, please bring my attention to the top energy center on top of my head. And please balance my whole system. Please establish my connection with the universal energy, and please make that connection strong. We are using here the earth element by placing our hands towards the earth. And we can ask the earth element to please absorb all of our imbalances and neutralize them. Let all the obstructions, all the imbalances from my system be cleansed out by the earth element. We keep our attention on top of our head. All right, we can place both our hands back on our lap. Let's see whether the flow on our hands has become cooler, maybe a little stronger also. There might still be some tingling, indicating that there are still some imbalances, but that's all right. All right, we can open our eyes. Okay, so last week's homework was not easy. Hopefully it was interesting and enlightening. So what we were supposed to do, we were supposed to try and assess the things in our environment. So look at them without thinking while we are in this semi-meditative mode, while our attention is on top of our head, and see whether we can feel the energy of that particular thing. And then if that energy was cool, then whether we can feel it on our own hands, right? When we put attention on something, and also at the same time keep attention on the top of our head, we can feel the energy of that thing. So if the energy is cool, then that means that thing is good or good for us. If the energy is all hot and tingly, then that's an indication that this energy is not so bad, not so good for us. So if we have a lot of those things in our surroundings, whether it is at home or at work, if we have a lot of the things with bad energy, we might want to get rid of them if possible. If it's not possible to get rid of them altogether, then we can practice not putting attention on them. Whenever they are somewhere in our way, keep attention inside. Remove attention from those things. If we do not put attention on things with bad energy, we are not going to absorb that bad energy. So if we manage to maintain our attention on our own energy and on the spirit, we are protected from the influences from outside. So this is a very powerful technique, actually, because there are a lot of things and people, situations that we don't have control over. We can't just get rid of them. And a lot of them might not have very good energy, especially outside of our immediate surroundings. And so by learning how to withdraw our attention from those things, we learn how to protect ourselves from their influence, how to not absorb the negative energy from those things. Now, things that have good energy, right? We're supposed to try and practice watching them without thinking. If they have good energy, then that can nourish us. That can nourish also our meditation and our state in general. And then the elements. So whenever possible, we were supposed to try and practice very simple way of cleansing our system from excess imbalances by just putting our attention on the elements, whether it's the earth or if we have water, especially some big natural body of water close by on our way to work or on our way back. The sky is always there, even when it's cloudy. Fire, if we have access to it. At home, it's easy. You can just put a candle and look at the candle and ask the fire to cleanse. And fire is very effective to balance and cleanse our left side. All right, so that was a lot of homework. And then we had our regular homework, so watching your attention in general, seeing where it goes, whether it goes in the future or in the past, whether it jumps a lot, whether things that our attention goes to the most are really important things in our life, or maybe those are trivial things that we don't really want our attention going towards. And then the basic ground rules that we have established at the beginning: meditating twice a day, having food soak once a day, and not doing any other meditation practices or spiritual practices except Sahaja meditation. All right, that's a lot, right? Now, so what we're going to do from now on, instead of us having a homework of doing everything, we've done this for 2 weeks. This is a lot of stuff we've done for 2 weeks. What we now want to do is we now want to see what you feel is helpful for you and what you feel is needed based on what is your situation, what is your state. Ultimately, this technique, Sahaja meditation technique, is about you developing your own guru principle, your own principle of a teacher or of a master. So you feeling out and knowing yourself, learning yourself what it is that you need at this moment. Do you need more of this? Do you need more of that? And through practicing things, you develop this ability to know what it is that you need. So no more sort of fixed homework from now on. You've had enough, and now you want to pick and choose whatever it is that makes sense. I will give you some more options from today's session, but it is up to you to figure out which attention techniques are useful for you and which you want to keep practicing every day and which you will drop for now, and maybe you will pick them up later when you need them. Another thing I didn't mention, our meditation breaks through the day, right? So if you find that those are not very helpful or you don't really have time for them now, you can stop doing them and then pick them up at the time when you can do them, when you have time for them. All right. So yes, this was our homework from week 1 and the ground rules. Now this week I want to talk a little bit about the liver. So liver is this huge, actually it's a darker red than this big organ on the right upper abdomen. So the rib cage goes about here, and then part of the liver is, most of the liver is covered by the rib cage, and this little part is sticking out here. And it is the largest organ in our body and heaviest, largest by mass also. And it has over 500 functions, so we cannot really go over even a tiny bit of those. But a lot of the main functions of the liver is centered around our digestion, our digestive system in general, but also storing sugar, transforming fat, and getting rid of the toxins. So disposing of toxins from our bloodstream. And these are very important functions, right? So the liver is actually the main organ of the right side, we can say. And because it is right here on the right side, it's not only because of where it's located, it's also because of what it does, because it is supporting all of our activities and all of our functioning. And so that is the quality of the right energy channel. So the quality of our liver, and depending on how well the liver functions and how well the liver feels, defines a lot in general how our right channel functions. If we use our right channel too much, our liver becomes overworked, and then it cannot fulfill all of the functions. Then it becomes hot, we call it. We have this term, it's called hot liver. And hot liver it also actually physically becomes hot because it cannot get rid of the heat and generally the poisons or the toxins of the system. But also we use it as an indicator of how we start acting when our liver is hot. Now, the liver is a seat of our attention. Depending on how well the liver feels and how well it functions, our attention can be solid and effective, or it can be wobbly, or it can be very unstable, or unable to, you might be not able to focus on whatever it is that you need to focus on, or you might be unable to even direct your attention successfully. Your attention might not be listening to you, right? And just doing its own thing, especially when the hot liver, that often happens. So how do we know that our liver is hot? If the liver area feels hot, that is one of the physical signs. It doesn't always let us know. The liver is one of the most patient organs, and until there is something really, really wrong with the liver, it's not going to show the signs of discomfort, right? But it might be feeling hot, and some people can actually feel that this whole area of the right side of our abdomen is just feeling physically hot. There is heat coming out from this area as opposed to the, say, left side of the abdomen, right? Now, the most precise way to feel that your liver is hot is when we feel heat and tingling on our right hand, on the thumb and the middle finger. So mostly the middle finger, but also a little bit of the thumb. Why? Because our middle finger is where we feel on the right hand this energy center number 3, and this is most of our liver is supported by this part. And then our thumb is the energy center number 2, and so the bottom part of the liver is supported by that. So these two fingers, if we feel, the middle finger and the thumb, but especially the middle finger on the right hand, if we feel them hot and tingly, that is the sign that your liver is hot. Now, another sign of the liver being hot is if you feel angry or irritated or restless, especially for no good reason, but even with good reason, that is the sign that our liver is hot. Generally, this is something that Greek used to still say, that the liver is that source of anger, right? And any kind of aggressive emotions. And it is, but only when it is overused, only when it is overworked. So again, when our right channel becomes overactive, This is when the liver is overused, cannot fulfill all of the functions, and then our ego becomes large. The ego is the one who asserts and who feels, oh, I am something great, right? And often what will happen is anger or irritation or even restlessness comes from that feeling that I am something great, somebody else is wrong, I know better than other people how things should be done, and things like that. So anytime that we feel this, that we are angry, irritated, restless, this is the sign that our whole right channel is overactive and our liver is hot. Our liver is overworked. Now, what can we do? How can we balance our liver? Now, the long-term solution, and it might not be a full solution for everybody, but it really makes a huge difference, is the regular food soaking, especially in cool or cold water. So if you notice that this is one of your things, that you often feel tingling in this middle finger, and that you often feel stressed out, irritated, angry, restless, what you might want to do, you might want to experiment and have food soaks with a colder kind of water. If this is your general sort of state that is common to you. Let's say if you feel angry more than you feel sad, one of the things you could do is reduce the temperature of the water of your food soak. Now, don't do this if you feel more sad than angry, because then you need a little bit warmer water in the food soak. But if you do regular food soak every day, your liver should start gradually slowing down. Now, depending on what you do and what is your occupation, your job, and how many things you have to handle even at home, that might not be enough. So one of the simple ways that you all already know of balancing the liver is balancing the whole right channel. Again, the liver is the main organ of the right channel. When the right channel is balanced, the liver is balanced also. So you all know that. You keep your right hand open on your lap, your left hand goes up, and you meditate like this for a little while. And then you can ask the element of the sky, ether, to absorb the heat from your liver and to neutralize it. And so that's something that usually works. And then see what you feel in your right hand, whether your right hand becomes cooler, whether that middle finger becomes cooler, and the thumb also. Now, if you really feel your whole right hand is sort of okay, so you don't need to balance the whole right channel, but just this finger and maybe this finger are tingly, then instead of balancing the whole right channel, you can keep your right hand open on your lap and put your left hand on the liver. So again, put your left hand on this area, the right upper abdomen, sort of just at the bottom of the rib cage. And when you meditate like this for a little while, what happens is in our left hand, we carry the cooling energy of the right channel, of the left channel. So we keep our right hand open to absorb the universal energy. We apply that to our liver with our left hand. And this is a way to balance liver specifically. Now again, if that is not enough, if your job or your home life is so demanding that even that, after 5-10 minutes, doesn't cool down your liver, you might want to experiment with an ice pack. Take an ice pack, place it on your liver for 10-15 minutes. Not directly on the skin, so place it over like one layer of clothes, on like undershirt or a t-shirt, and keep the ice pack there and see whether that cools down your liver. Sometimes, especially if you live in a place that's hot, if you do a lot of thinking at work, or if you handle a lot of things at home, there's a lot of action and your liver might not be able to cope, the ice pack is something that really is handy and really helpful. Don't overdo it. Don't do it for too long. 10 minutes should be okay. So unless you have some serious medical issues that would prevent you from doing that, generally we do this a lot, especially during the hot season, during the summer. Some of you might live in permanent summer, right? So that is one of the solutions for you. Again, if you feel more sad than angry, don't do that, because that means your left channel actually needs more support. So the ice pack will make your whole system move further to the left. And that is not going to be helpful. That means if you're more sad than angry, that means that you need more of the fire as opposed to the water or ice. Now, the most important thing is keep your perspective. Remember that you are not your ego, you are the spirit. If we remember that we are the spirit and identify with the spirit, our liver can never become hot, because then we never go out of balance. The only time that our liver is hot is when our ego is acting, and we allow our ego to control our life, and to control our views, control how we feel. So that is sort of a conclusion of our main session today. So homework, continue what you can from last week's. You can drop out some of the things, except the ground rules. The ground rules have to be followed. And then when you feel tingling in this middle finger, or in both middle and the finger and the thumb, or if you feel angry, irritated, stressed out, try balancing your liver. Notice how the balancing of your liver improves your attention and the quality of your meditation. Notice whether it improves it. If it doesn't, then it's likely that either you're still thinking too much instead of meditating while you're balancing, or maybe you don't really have a hot liver, and so you need to do some other things there. But for the purposes of attention, and especially for people who go to work and work a lot, this liver is usually quite an issue. Another thing that can be done, of course, is just physically to help the liver. So this is something you can look up on your own, is there are things that when we eat them, they are generally cooling for the liver, and then other things when we eat them are generally heating for the liver. So they don't help. So things that are easy to digest are easy on the liver. Things that are difficult to digest are difficult on the liver. So something that's very fried or a lot of red meat, those things are generally difficult on the liver. Things like rice and cucumbers and yogurt are generally cooling for the liver. So that's another thing you can try, and do a bit of a diet if you feel that your liver is hot all the time. All right. Now, you don't need to remember anything that we have talked about today. I will send you a bit of a summary tonight, as usual. So if you have to leave now because you have work, then feel free to leave, and then we'll have our second meditation. So again, sit comfortably. You can either close your eyes, or you can look at the slide that we have here. Let's put our attention on our hands. Now we can start by briefly balancing our left channel. So we place our right hand towards the ground or on the ground. Keep our left hand open on our lap. We feel our left channel in our left palm. If there is heat or tingling in the left hand, that means that the left channel requires some balancing. So now we can bring our attention to the top of our head. And we can ask our own inner energy and the Mother Earth to balance our left channel. Inner energy, please balance my left channel. And please let all the imbalances, all the obstructions from my left channel be absorbed and neutralized by the earth element. Alright, we can place our right hand back on our lap. Now we will keep our right hand on our lap. We will place our left hand on our liver, so on the upper abdomen on the right side. The right hand is open on our lap. The left hand is on the right side of the upper abdomen. And keep our attention on top of our head or slightly above. And we can ask our energy, Mother Energy, please balance my liver. Please nourish my liver. Please remove all the heat, all the stress from my liver. Mother Energy, please restore the balanced functioning of my liver. Mother Energy, please purify my attention. Please remove my attention from all the things that are not significant. Bring and settle my attention in the present. Let's keep our attention on top of our head. You don't need to analyze anything. You don't need to do anything. Just need to let our own energy do all the work. Our energy is very good at doing the job as long as we do not interfere too much. Let's observe our attention. And we don't need to do anything, we just need to watch it. Is our attention staying on top of our head, where we want it? Is our attention relaxed? Is it stable? When the liver is doing well, it gives us the feeling of peace and satisfaction. Let's see whether we feel that. At least a tiny bit of that peace and satisfaction. Sense that you don't need anything, you don't have to do anything, you can just stay in the present moment. You can just enjoy the silence of meditation. Alright, we can put our hand back on our lap. Now let's take our right hand, place it on top of our head. We can massage the top of our head, clockwise direction. Now we can lift our hand. Let's see whether we feel the flow of energy from the top of our head. Alright, we can place our hand back on our lap. Try the same with the left hand. Okay, now place both our hands in front of us. Now place both our hands in front of us. Let's see what we feel on our hands. So if we still feel some heat or tingling on our right hand, especially on the middle finger and the thumb, that means that our liver needs more balancing. Our right channel in general needs more balancing. So you might want to experiment with a little ice pack. We feel our right channel is cool, our right hand is cool, that means our right channel is in balance. We don't need to do anything. We still feel some heat or tingling on our left hand, and we would need to balance our left channel. Now again, let's bring our attention to the top of our head. Place our hands back on our lap. Let's see whether we can stay without thinking. Another side of our liver being hot is when we try to meditate and we keep getting the thoughts about the future. All right, we can open our eyes. Now we are close to the end of our session, so I will launch our after meditation poll just to see how the session worked for you. And otherwise, I wanted to thank you for a wonderful meditation I had with you today. And we will see you next week. I will send you an email tonight or maybe tomorrow morning with the follow-up from today's session and with the recording. And we will see you next week.